Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the difference between absolute and relative happiness as regards to Buddhism. How do you have lasting happiness? Relative happiness is more like the temporary happiness, and absolute is more like lasting happiness, that happiness that you have regardless. So regardless of what happens to you. So I'm going to read more excerpts from the Wisdom for Creating Happiness and Peace. You can order this book. I can put a link below. And the first thing it talks about I'm on page 5. What is the purpose of life? It is happiness. The goal of Buddhism and faith, too, is to become happy, right? I mean, that's really what humans do all the time. No matter what we're doing, we're actually doing it because we want to be happy. For some reason, we see happiness in whatever we're doing, whether we're pursuing food or comfort or a relationship or a resolution or whatever we're going for. Even altruism, if you look into the science behind altruism, it can be more actually, what do you think will make you happy? Is if you're altruistic. People who are altruistic believe that there's happiness to be found in altruism. So, whatever we do, even if it's self-sacrifice, it's tied to, we want to be happy. As humans, we want to be happy. And that's why we practice religion, because it's kind of a shortcut. It's like we're kind of reading what other people have learned to become happy, and we're going to apply it to our lives. And that's what Buddhism is. So, the Lotus Sutra, well, the Lotus Sutra is like the highest teaching of Buddha, where living beings enjoy themselves at ease. So Nichiren Daishonin, actually Daisaku Keita actually goes to your enjoy yourself at ease here in the Lotus Sutra means being freely able to live the kind of life one desires and wholeheartedly enjoying that life. So, you can have, the ability to enjoy your life and the ability to have the ideal life are two separate things. Like some people have the ideal life, but they don't enjoy it. Some people enjoy their life, but they don't have the ideal life. So we're kind of trying to balance those things out. So it goes on to say, if you possess strong life force and abundant wisdom, so strong life force, like resilience, Buddhism is about building up your resilience. In abundant wisdom, it is possible to enjoy the challenge of overcoming life's hardships in much the same way that waves make surfing exhilarating and steep mountains give mountaineering its appeal. So in other words, when you are practicing Buddhism correctly, when you achieve that enlightenment per se, what you're doing is that every time you see a challenge, instead of feeling defeated about it, you're kind of got this bring it, just bring it type of attitude, like whatever, just bring it. You're just like, you're ready to go every time you get a new challenge. You're energized, you're excited to overcome it. And then he goes on to say, because the mystic law is the source of life force and wisdom for overcoming life's difficulties, the Daishonin states that there's no greater happiness than chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. So what is the mystic law? Is the fact that what is inside is revealed in our environment. If we're a difficult people, we're going to be surrounded by difficult people, right? Well, in fact, there's always difficult people in the world, but we bring out in other people what we have in our hearts. We are affecting other people. If we feel like we're living in poverty and we can, and the world is poverty, we'll actually create some poverty in our life. So that's the mystic law. And so how do you really make that work? Because you can't just delude yourself into saying, I am rich. That's not going to work. But anyway, so he goes on to say, reality is harsh. Please courageously challenge the stern realities of life and win again in everything, in daily life, work, school, and family relations. The teachings of Buddhism and our practice of faith are the driving force for unlimited improvement. So yes, Buddhism is about winning. Buddhism is about winning. It really makes sure that you put that in that, truly understand that Buddhism is about winning. It's about winning in your life. And it's not about winning against other people. It's about winning against all your negativity or the darkness, depression or whatever in your heart that's holding you back from achieving your dreams, right? So he goes on to say, and I'm on page 6, where people possess wisdom and life force derived from the Buddhist practice, they can move everything in a brighter, more positive, and more encouraging direction. Wise, genuine practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism are able to enter into a winning rhythm in actuality, not just in theory. So we want a religion that actually works, not just in theory, and like theoretically, when we die, we'll get something. That's not a really effective religion for improving your life. What you want is a religion that actually transforms your life in reality, right? So, and then Josai Toda, second Soka Gakkai president, he went on to say, I'd like to say a few words about happiness. There are two kinds of happiness, absolute happiness and relative happiness. Absolute happiness is attaining Buddhahood. Relative happiness means that your everyday wishes are fulfilled one by one. For instance, to have 1,000,000 yen, a wonderful spouse, fine children, a nice house or clothes, and so on. Such happiness is not of great happiness, of great consequence. Yet everyone is convinced that this is what being happy is all about. Right? So we want to balance between that relative and that absolute, right? So, what then is absolute happiness? Absolute happiness means that being alive here in itself is a joy. It implies a state of life where one is free of financial worries and enjoys adequate good health, where there's peace and harmony in one's family and one's business properties, where all that one sees and hears brings one a wonderful sense of pleasure and joy. When we achieve such a state of life in this world, this strife-ridden Saha world will itself become a pure land. This is what we call attaining Buddhahood, the state of Buddhahood. So, how can we achieve this? We must shift from the pursuit of relative happiness to that of absolute happiness. Only our practice of Nichiren Buddhism can make this happen. I'm working fiercely to share this truth with others, so I hope you can have utter confidence in my words and lead such lives of absolute happiness. So, when you have absolute happiness, regardless of what happens to you, you're like, bring it. You've got this confidence and resilience to you. So it's not that problems are going to go away, but as you have this resilience in your life, you will actually have some problems go away. So I'm going to go on to page 8 now. The purpose of life is to realize this kind of happiness. In other words, absolute happiness. Absolute happiness is something that does not change with time. It is eternal and unaffected by external factors, welling forth from the depth of one's life. It is not a transitory thing like worldly status or fortune or some other fleeting satisfaction. So yeah, we want this happiness because we want it to be right from the depths of our soul, right from the depths of our being, right from the depths of our heart, like this really welling in our lives of just, and the eternity of life is a Buddhist concept that we've been here, we always be here. So, as we go through all these lives, we're going to have transitory, but once we attain that state of Buddhahood that lasts throughout all eternity, it goes on to say what matters in life is living in accord with the law and attaining an elevated state of life based on the law. So you want an elevated state of life. So you're chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo to improve your state of life inside, so that's reflected in your external environment. The state of life we attain, like the law itself, is eternal. Once you've attained it, you get it. As practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism, we can make our way as champions of life throughout eternity. Some people say that happiness is just a state of mind, and that if you think you're happy, you will be, even if you're suffering from illness or poverty. But it's just something you're telling yourself without actually feeling any real sense of happiness in the depths of your being, then it's meaningless, right? And I would actually go on to say that if it's a happiness that's fleeting and that's not something that you can truly embrace the chaos of life, embrace the real trials of life in a joyful way, it does more harm than good. Actually, that's my belief. So anyway, he goes on to say, and this is where I'll conclude. Every day, oops, my timer went off. Every day, I'm earnestly praying that you may enjoy comfortable lives, good health, and longevity, and I will continue to pray wholeheartedly for this as long as I live. It is my ardent wish that each of you fulfill all of your heart's desires so that you can declare in your closing days, my life has been a happy one. I have no regrets. It has been a satisfying life. And that's the goal of Buddhism. So that's helps to explain the difference between absolute and relative happiness. And tomorrow we're going to go a little bit through how happiness is forged amidst your life's challenges. So it goes a little bit more into how do you attain that absolute happiness. So once again, that's wisdom for creating happiness and peace. Just reading some excerpts out of it. You can order it. I don't get any kickback out of it. I don't get any money out of it. I just want a better world. I want a more peaceful world, because when people are happy and living their best life, they are not violent. And Nichiren Buddhism can bring that state of happiness, and then we can create a non-violent, very peaceful world. I hope this is helpful. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.